Hi, I'm going to give this a shot streaming today from home. I'm at my home setup. I finally got my home microphone working, a piece of crap webcam, and I finally got a microscope camera here at home. So I wanted to do a little video that I've seen come up 3 or 4 times in the last day on forums. And this is this idea of, should I remove a component or should I replace a component? And a lot of times you hear me advocating for removing and not replacing something. And I want to tell you why. And it's all about eliminating variables. So when you're troubleshooting a problem, your goal is to not add more possible problems, but to eliminate, kind of carve out and simplify your problem by eliminating potential variables. And let's take a look at some stuff that I've seen on some forums and see if I can show you an example of what inspired me to talk about this today. So let's go display capture and let's find a post. This is a post from iPad Rehab Forum. I think that's working. All right. And this is a post by Edgar, and I know Edgar, and he is telling us that he's got an iPhone 7, and he said that he found cap C3725 burned. Now, C3725 is a cap that's on the backlight anode line. So that's a fairly typical spot to get a short. And he said that the battery was starting to bloat. That's probably unrelated. That he put it on the charger and it was not pulling current. And when he disconnected the charger, you see the charging icon. Not sure about that. Then this. I have replaced C3725. So he sees something burned, so he takes it off and he replaces it. And that's what I want you guys to stop doing, to get away from that. Because just saying see bad, replace bad doesn't teach you anything. It doesn't add information to the problem. You don't know if there was a problem and if you fixed it just by saying see bad, replace bad. That doesn't really help you, and it ends up creating variables and getting into trouble. So then he put a new battery. He saw fumes coming out, so he let out some magic smoke, and 3725 became a wire again. So he's asking for help with this problem. So for Edgar, he thought that he had 3725 was the reason why the backlight anode line was short. So in order to replace that cap, why are you doing? You're trying to solve a problem. That problem would be, how do caps fail? They fail by creating shorts. So what I would advise Edgar to do would be, before replacing that cap, test with your multimeter and say, is that line short? Beep. Or diode mode reading 0. Yes, that line is short. Okay, that's the problem I'm trying to solve. Next, I'm going to make a hypothesis. I think this line is short because of C3725. Then take it off, remove, but don't replace. Then get your multimeter back out and say, was I right? Did my short go away? Was that the cause of the problem? Now, in Edgar's case, he would have found that no, C3725 might have been burned, and it might have been an ugly looking dude, and it might have been a wire, but that wasn't the only reason why that line was short. It has another short on it. So replacing it just ended up causing problems again because he didn't clear the first problem. Let me show you another one. Here's Cora. I also know Cora, and Cora is talking about troubleshooting a backlight no image problem on an iPhone 6. And she did say later that she ruled out long screw damage, but her problem here is that she was doing a traditional backlight repair on iPhone 6. She found a short, so she found a short C1531, and then it says here that she removed it and replaced it. That's fine, but again, it's the same thing where C1531 you think is the cause of a short on backlight anode line. So remove it and then confirm that you no longer have a short, that you've actually had a fire that this was the cause of, that you then put out. Only then could you replace it when you're rebuilding the circuit. So she replaced it, and then she put the diode in, and then she didn't have a backlight. And not only that, but now she has her backlight, her phone is not booting. So it says she plugs it in now, got everything put back together, and the power supply goes to 70 milliamps. A 70 milliamp phone is a brain dead phone, so she's wondering, what do I do now? How did I get a brain dead phone? Now, in her repair, what she did was replace the cap, and then she also replaced the diode, and she replaced the backlight driver chip. So that's a lot of work to do in a really tight area, and now the phone doesn't boot. So in that case, you want to always be eliminating variables. So when you had a working phone that booted but didn't have backlight, and now you've got a dead phone, what do? You just go back a step. You erase the footprints that you just made and see if you can get back to where you were. So you question that recent work. So for her, I told her to take off the backlight driver. The hypothesis would be that there's some CPU communication lines under the backlight driver that maybe got nudged and were bridged together, and now the CPU can't communicate, so you've got a brain dead phone. So I advised her to just remove, but not replace. Remove the backlight driver chip in order to eliminate that variable. And then this is my advice. And then she says, thanks, I'll go back and change the chip again. Change. So that's, again, what is on the not to-do list. First, remove. Check to see if you solved a problem. If yes, then replace. So that's, so here you go. Not change, remove. All right. So that's what I wanted to kind of share with you guys today. And let's go ahead and do a repair then. So let's get rid of this. So let's go ahead and do one of these backlight jobs. This is an iPhone 6s that I really just want to do here at home to kind of test out my my home setup here. All right, here we go. Oh, it looks like it's working. There's some comments. Let's see. Something going on about fixing Touch ID, which is not relevant to backlight. All right, so I'm going to leave that over here. So what we have here is an iPhone 6s, no backlight. And let's look around at it. And under the microscope, we can see pretty readily with the shield off that here at the backlight driver chip, so there's the, let's see, does that work? Yep. Backlight driver chip, there's solder balls coming out of that. There is solder balls coming out of this selfie flash diode. This diode looks burned, the regular diode. And then we can see some coil blood is oozing out of the top of that coil. Yep, so there we go. All right, so how does a phone get to be in that kind of 50-car pileup? This is a classic signature problem. iPhone 6s, no backlight due to a short circuit. So in order for this to happen, the fault was not out of the connector like most backlight faults where you have a short to ground at the connector, because a transient current spike from a short to ground out at the connector is going to kind of be protected by the filter. The filter will blow up and it will save the rest of the circuit. So this kind of damage happens only if you have a short to ground, and that strong current spike as soon as you open up a path to ground to dump that 20 volts straight into ground, huge current spike, and that causes an enormous release of energy. And we can see that blows up the diodes and it bothers the coil and causes it to catch on fire and shoot out all of its insulation. So you only see this kind of damage if the primary problem is a backlight anode line short. So just because our eyes tell us, hey, look at that coil is bad because it's got a hole in it and it's got green blood coming out of the top of it. Look, you can see a crack. See bad, replace bad. Nope. We're going to look for the primary problem first. How about this diode? Look at that diode. It is brown. It kind of has a little bit of a hole right here in the top of it. Look, it's just like it just falls apart when you touch it. See bad, replace bad? Nope. We're gonna ask, what is the problem? How did it come to be like that? Look at this diode. It's doing a wheelie. It is way up high on this side, way down on that side. See bad, replace bad? Nope. Now what about this cap? Well, that cap looks fine. Yeah, well, that's going to be the cause of the problem. How about solder balls squeezing out of a chip? See bad, replace bad? Nope. We're going to go with what's the cause of the problem. Hey, I'm doing a video. What do you need? Did your Easy Bake Oven stuff work out?
Yeah.
You did? Great. Why do you look like you're in a bad mood?
Well, I didn't even put frosting on yet.
You didn't? Well, why don't you do it?
I don't know how.
Well, do a consult with Betsy because she just did one.
She's mad at me.
Why is Betsy mad at you? What happened? That's impossible because it's the best day ever.
No, it's not.
It's not, but your shirt says that it is. Do you want to be in my video? Look, you're going to be on TV if you peek out from that chair. I'm fixing an iPhone 6s. You want to watch? All right. So what's the problem here? The problem, I think, is that we have a short to ground on the backlight anode line. Do you think there's a short to ground, Maisie?
I don't know.
Well, let's check with a multimeter and find out. Here, why don't you tell me what this multimeter says, and you can be my helper, okay? All right, so it says OL. Now watch what happens when I put them together. It beeps, and what number does it say?
1.
0.00. See all those zeros? 0.000. That's the number that it makes when something is a wire. Right? Like that. You can even do an experiment like this. Do you think that this is a wire?
No.
Let's find out. Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. What about your finger? Do you think your finger is a wire?
No.
Put your finger out. Let's find out.
That's gonna hurt.
All right, you do it to my finger. Is it a wire?
No.
No. All right, so we're going to find out whether or not the backlight anode line is a wire. All right, let's see if it's a wire to ground. So I'm going to put one probe here on ground, and then I'm going to put the other probe here. Is that a wire?
Yes.
And what about on this side?
Yes.
Oh, there is a wire. That's a short circuit to ground. So now we have to figure out why. So that we've found the primary problem. There is a short to ground on the backlight anode line. And if we were to look at the circuit, let's see if I can look at the circuit or not. Let's see. Let's try display capture. Let's see. Here we go. iPhone 6s. iPhone 6s. Hey, I'm doing a video. Do you want to be in my video? We're learning about iPhone 6s backlight shorts.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the iPhone 6s backlight circuit, and the line that is short was PP LCM backlight anode line. And if we look for what could be the cause of a short, it's got to be a cap or a chip, because those are the only things that can become short. So it's either this big cap, C4023, or this little teeny tiny cap, which the little ones really don't go bad, or it is the driver chip itself. So it's one of those. So we can guess, which is the most likely failure point from experience. I'm going to say, I bet it's C4023. So let's find out. So this is a case where we're going to remove, but not replace. We're just going to remove C4023 to see if that solves. Now the way we're going to do that, I'm going to use the preheater. Loving the preheater. So I wanted to kind of show you another use for the bottom heater. This bottom heater is going to help us work in this area because there's so much underfill in this area that makes it really difficult to just get that cap off by itself without bothering anything else. Hey girls, can you shut that door because it's too loud out there? You guys can stay in here and play if you want. Okay. All right, so let's find that. There's that big dog, C4023. Sean Blair donated $10. Thanks, Sean. You're the best. All right. So Betsy and Maisie, have you been having fun with the Easy Bake Oven?
Uh-huh.
What did you make so far?
I made one. I think it was. I made just a cake with no frosting.
A cake with no frosting.
I made a chocolate cake with chocolate icing.
Did it turn out?
Uh-huh.
Do you like being able to cook by yourselves?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Ooh, that's hot. Don't touch the hot plate with your finger. All right, so we're going to try and dig this cap out. Now with that bottom heat, we should be able to just hit this with a little bit of top heat, hair dryer kind of heat, 200 maybe or less. It's been snowing all day here in beautiful Rochester, New York. All right, let's try to clear out some underfill. What are you girls playing?
Snap circuits, but it's really bad because there's no batteries.
Snap circuits? I love snap circuits. Why don't you build me a circuit and then we can connect it to the DC power supply.
Mom, there's no batteries and there's no cords.
Well, maybe we could use this. That acts like a battery.
What's that?
This, it's got a DC power supply. Look. We can use like...
Whoa.
What about these? Like, do you think we could connect it to something and it would be like a battery? Let's try it. Build me a circuit and then I'll connect it and we'll see what happens.
I'm just making my own circuit to see if it works for anything. I'm trying to do lamp and fan.
Okay. Why don't you make a circuit except for not the battery part and then I'll connect it to this DC power supply and we'll see if it works together. Does that sound good?
Mom, I'm already building.
All right. Well, when you get something that you want to test, we can test it together.
Mom,
Yeah.
someday can we go get new snap circuits? We have barely any.
I think we had a lot and then you guys kind of just didn't take care of them. Do you think that happened?
Not really, because the school had most of them.
I know, we gave a lot of them to the school, but we kept a bunch here. Does the school ever do any projects with the snap circuits that we gave them?
No.
No.
Yeah. Not anymore. Not even one.
Not even one.
They don't do anything.
Well, when I looked at them, it looked like somebody had used them. Maybe is it the kindergartners?
No.
Why? Because kindergartners are too dumb for snap circuits?
No, Mom, you don't get it.
I don't get it.
Mom, we only use those kind of things when it's on special day.
Oh, okay.
No, only one special day. What is
All right, we're going to check to see whether or not this is a wire. Oh, I hear a beep. Maisie, come tell me. Is this thing a wire?
Yes.
Yes. So there you go. In the camp of let's see what looks bad, take off and replace it. You know, that cap was the best looking thing, but that was the primary problem.
This is my project.
Okay.
I just made it up, kind of.
Yeah, I see that. Well, let's try it. Let's set this on battery voltage. So we'll put it at 1.5 volts. And let's see. Let's connect it with the DC power supply. So this is kind of like a battery. All right, let's do it. So let's just say we'll push a voltage out this way. Let's do it on either side of your switch. We'll push a voltage out this way. And then we'll push it around the circuit and let it come back here. And that's what happens, nothing. But look, you can see, look, when we press the switch, look, current goes through your circuit. So electrons are moving, but you didn't really give it anything to do, like a light or anything like that. Would you want to look for a light or a motor that you could spin?
No, I tried to make it do music. Oh, wait, I got the wrong one of these. It doesn't say.
Well, good luck with that.
Here, wait, Mom.
Okay.
Look, this is the one I meant to put on. See, music.
I see, but we don't really know what all of these things connect to. It's just like what I'm working on. This is a chip, but you have to know which one of this is supposed to be the power into the chip, and I don't know, and it doesn't tell us. That's why I think you should do a light or a motor, because those only have one connection. All right, for us, let's keep on seeing if we can now put out the fire. So let's go back and check what is our diode mode reading on this backlight anode line. And let's see. Let's see. It's underdog. All right, so we're going to do red probe on ground. One side is 0, and the other side is now 0.4. Hooray! So that means we've put out our primary fire. So that's what I mean by remove instead of replace. Remove until you get to the bottom of the problem. We knew we had a problem, a backlight anode line short, and then we said what could be the source of the problem. Rather than just what looks bad, hey, let's pick out intelligently what is likely to be the problem. So we found that cap and took it off. Yes, that cap was a wire. That was the cause of the short. And then we confirmed that the fire was put out. So we have solved that problem. Now, in order to actually fix this, we're going to have to fix all of the other events that kind of went along with the 50-car pileup of this backlight anode line short. If we had not taken off that cap and we just replaced the diode, the short would still be there. And the second we plugged it back in, then the diode would blow again. All right, so for us, now we're going to move from remove to replace. So we are going to take off these burn diodes. We're going to take off this coil, and we are going to take off this chip. We're going to windshield wiper this whole area, and then we're going to replace it because we saw solder balls sticking out, and that's not good. Hey girls, how come you were like doing your own thing all day long? Right up until the very minute I said, hey, I'm going to make a video. And then decided to come in here. Was that just random chance? Or do you like secretly have like a radar system for how to like get in trouble? All right, let's remember the dot on that chip is right there. I love working in the window with the natural light because you can really see like the sun is peeking out from behind the clouds right now, and you can see that it brightens up the under the microscope. You can, it's really kind of fun to work in natural light. So with the bottom preheater, this job is a lot easier. Normally, I wouldn't dare trying to take off the coil with my green tweezers. In fact, I still think I don't dare to do that. Goodbye, sweet coil. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me get this off and then we'll test. You what? Oh, are you on TV? Huh? Possibly. There we go. Oh, I forgot the diode. There we go. All right, I'm going to take this off the preheater to let that cool down so that we can clean up those pads. All right, Betsy. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's see if we can get your project to work here. All right. What do you think is going to happen? Let's put it...
I'm trying to make this thing fly up.
Let's put it at 3.5 volts. All right, so we'll push the voltage out this red one. We'll push it this way. And then it's going to come around here and come back.
Yay!
Why don't I leave it on? I can. Woo! Hand 3. All right, now let's crank up the voltage and see what happens. Look at this. This breaks the circuit. Look, you can see the current being consumed. See that? Watch what happens to this number. All right, let's turn it up. Whoa! 6 volts! Look at that.
I'm slowly trying to...
Yeah, I bet it'll fly away if we touch it. Here, I bet it'll fly if we flip this. Let's push it the other way. Whoa! It did!
I get it.
That's pretty cool, huh?
I totally just made that up.
All right, ready? Here, Betsy, do you want to do it yourself? Here, connect it.
Okay.
All right.
So there.
Right here. Just touch it to that.
So,
You can just touch
so
it.
I just squeeze it.
Yeah.
Oh, you can just touch it.
You can just touch it. Whoa! Very cool. All right, now scram because I'm in the middle of a video. Here, take that. Stop that. Where do you think the camera is? Do you know? All right.
Oh, gross. Oh, right here. Right here. This is the camera.
Yeah, it is. My goodness. All right, beat it. Okay, back to this project. Let's see. All right. We're going to let this down a little bit. Now it's going to be time to just clean up the pads with iron. And we're going to pretty much just get these to transition from leaded to lead-free to leaded, I think. 20 volts. See if they cry. I will not. I will not burn out their motor. That is just a path to having to buy more snap circuits.
I love that orange circuit.
All right, let's just make these knock down a little bit, and then we can clear out the remaining underfill. So girls, what do you think you're going to be when you grow up?
I don't know. Aren't you doing that video?
Yeah, but I was just wanting to chat because this is a boring part.
Okay. Ouch. I think. Probably all my life I've been thinking of being a cashier.
Yeah, cashier.
I like being at grocery stores and stuff.
All right, so Betsy wants to be a cashier.
Does anyone know who Betsy is?
Yeah, Betsy's the girl right there. How about you, Maisie? What if you had to pick? I mean, I know you might change your mind later. If you had to pick what you were going to be today, what would you pick?
S1.
What's it going to be, Maisie?
Mom,
What?
I'm trying to think, okay?
Okay, yeah, it is a pretty big decision.
Probably a carnival worker.
A carnival worker.
Like making rides.
Oh, okay. Wow. Like
I'd always
like a
want to go to that carnival.
like a carny would.
Don't say Barney. It reminds me of Barney, and I hate Barney now.
You hate Barney? Why? Oh, okay. So Betsy and Maisie, you're gonna be a cashier and a carnival worker. Nice. A carny. Okay. Yes.
Are you even talking to anyone?
Probably not. Do you think anybody thinks that this is interesting to watch, or is it just super boring?
Probably if they're a kid and they're watching it, it's really boring. But if
Yeah.
it's actually a grown-up thing, watching it would be pretty interesting for them to watch.
Maybe. If I was a grown-up, I would just be thinking, God, that girl needs to brush her hair. That's what I would be thinking. What? It's the truth.
Don't say that. People are gonna watch this.
Right, then maybe you should brush your hair. Why don't you go brush your hair right now?
No.
Why? What's the protest about brushing hair? You know what you have to... You know what you have to brush your hair for? Being a carny. They will not let you be a carny if you have, like, messy hair.
I'm not gonna be a carny.
Well, what kind of... Have you ever gone to a grocery store and seen a cashier that has a messy hair?
Pretty much.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
Fake news.
Real news.
I don't think so.
I do think so.
Okay.
This is making my answer. Oh, I'm out of here.
All right, bye. I hope you're going to brush your hair now.
No.
Okay. All right. Let's see what it would take to get this circuit back together. So we're going to stick it back on the ye old preheater. All right, and so let's put these things back kind of one at a time. All right. Focus microscope. Let's see. Memories of my gals when they were young. Wicked. I will do no such thing. I will do no such thing. All right. Carnival entertainment engineer. All righty. So we got to lift this back up. Now, the one thing I really don't know is I feel like the chips that I found in my stash at home for 6S backlight, these might be 6 plus, in which case that driver chip is different. It doesn't have the selfie flash capability, but I am not sure if it will work at all. So that's kind of the test I wanted to do with this. Let's find out, shall we? Alrighty, so let's try to remember, where does the dot go? Pretty sure it goes down here at the bottom. So let's see if we can get all these things stuck back on at the same time. Hoverboarding over there sounds like an earthquake, don't you think, Maisie?
I don't know.
I think it sounds like an earthquake.
Becky thinks those things are called earthquakes.
She thinks the hoverboard is called an earthquake.
No, like an earthquake is called an earthquake.
Oh, she thinks earthquakes are called earthqueds.
Quags.
Quegs?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how to spell the word odor?
No, I don't.
Do you want me to tell you?
No.
Yeah, I want to tell you because it's for a reason. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
All right, it's O-D-O-R. O-D-O-R. Can you imagine that in your head? O-D-O-R?
Why?
Because, if you were just reading O-D-O-R, what do you think it would say? Odor or otter?
I think it say otter.
Right. Well, that is what Betsy thought the other day. And when we were playing Pictionary, she thought O-D-O-R spelled otter. So she drew a picture of an otter. And I did not guess it at all. So we lost. Big time. Oh, I know another thing that Betsy thought. Betsy thought the word, the word French?
Yeah.
She thought...
I think it said French.
Yeah, you're right. She thinks it's called French.
That reminded me of French fries. No, I mean French fries.
Right. Wait, do you say French fries?
No, I said French fries.
Did you always say that, or you just started saying that?
I always said that.
Okay.
Well, I don't remember. I think when I was like
Yeah. Maybe. I kind of think you're still little, like right now.
I am not little.
Yeah, I think you're little. You're not? You look kind of little to me.
Well, you're wrong.
Oh.
I'm not little.
Now that you're 7, you're big?
Kind of.
Oh. All right, I'm getting ready to fly a whole bunch of little dudes across the board. All right, here's what I want to know. Let's see what happens if we just turn up the heat. Let's see. Well, you can watch right there and see if they solder themselves down.
What?
I'm going to turn up the heat on this thing, which heats it up from the bottom. And then I'm going to see, look, you can see what I'm looking at under the microscope. All right, we're gonna see if we can heat this thing up enough to like get them to really like sit down a little bit. Ooh. What do you think about the preheater being one that attaches to the machine to power it instead of an outlet? I don't know. I think that I love this preheater and it's been really helpful. So just like everything, I have no interest in trying out a bunch of stuff. Like people are like, what's the alternative to the Crest? I don't know. I bought the Crest and I love it. So I'm not going to do, like, hey, let's buy a bunch and try them all. I try many until I find something that I really like that I think works great. And then I stick with it. And so that's what iPad Rehab Supply is all about. This is the thing that we have tried. Like, this is my favorite squid, and we tried a lot of squids. This one's my favorite. So with the red one, I love it. And we're not going to go try a bunch of them right now unless there's a reason to. Alrighty. That's pretty cool. You can see, look at this. Like, that looks... Look at that. It's like almost. Look at that. It totally solders itself down. Okay, so now. Oh, look at that. You can totally solder that down by itself. Look at that. Solder it down.
I just heard, like...
What?
I just heard, like...
All right, let's give it a tiny nudge of heat to get that chip on, because I don't want to touch the chip on the top like I just did everything else, because that would squeeze all those balls together.
Why did you put a quarter in the middle?
Well, I put a quarter there because I don't want that spot to get hot, and I'll let you feel the quarter when I'm done. Because my plan is that the quarter is going to suck up the heat so it doesn't go into that big square chip. Do you think that's a good plan or not?
Yeah. I think that's a good plan. I'm going to finally make something out of this stuff.
Okay.
Just to go get some people.
I think this might have been a little gritty. I'm not happy with how this chip is behaving. See how this, look at that. That's like liquid. When I touch it, it kind of moves back. But the chip is not doing that. And that tells me that something is impeding it. Something is making it so that it can't flow naturally, which is probably like a little bit of silicone or something under there that I missed.
We are noisy out
What?
there. They're really noisy out there.
Who?
Billy and Sam. Tim's like saying Robin's a female.
All right, let's give it a little bit of more actual heat on top and see if we can heat them up. There we go. There. All right, I think that was just too low. I had it on 200, and that was not enough. All right. Okay. Now we're gonna let that cool down. Ooh, that is hot. Hot, hot, hot on the bottom side. Hot, hot, hot on the quarter. Yikes. Cords are everywhere that they didn't used to be. Boo! I gotta rearrange. Alright, let's see how that looks. I think I'm gonna move my coil over a little bit while this is otherwise cooling down so that I could get a shield back on there. Alright, so we're gonna let that cool down. What?
I just let Betty in here and now she wants to join.
Of course she does.
Betty, this is the river where they get the water. And they take baths and stuff.
Let's see. Is it on your website, the squid? Yes. This is our favorite squid. The reason why I like this squid is because... Girls, isn't it funny this thing's called a squid?
Yeah.
I like this one because I use it with the Power Z dongle. So we use the Power Z dongle. Also available on iPadRehab.com supply store. So Power Z dongle we're using a lot to help us start making current consumption graphs. Maybe that's a dumb idea. I don't know yet, but it sure is a lot of fun to try to match sets of symptoms with DC current consumption at boot using the Power Z dongle. So in order to do that, we have to have the kind of squid that has an adapter for that. So you've got all your squid feet for iPhone 4, 4S, 5, 5S, 5C, 6, 6 Plus, 6S, 6S Plus, 7, 7 Plus, and Samsung. So Android and this one. So a lot of these squids don't have this one. So then it would be difficult to use the Power Z dongle. So we use that with another adapter, and then it hooks into a second squid, and that's what we use to power the Power Z. All right, let's see if this thing has backlight now. Let's see. What happens if you overheat that board? Then you would... Overheating by itself isn't a problem. You can cause problems by having too much heat, in which case you would identify what that problem was and solve it.
Right through the chimney. Then he knocked everyone. He done it again.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
I cleaned up the table in the kids' room. Remember that?
Yeah. Great. Excellent.
It was reversed this time. It looked kind of like mediocre.
Yeah.
But it was actually really messy.
Okay. Well, then you know what? You're my favorite kid now. Congratulations, Sam.
Come on, lazy dude.
Alrighty. The image is not centered. What image? Don't know what you're talking about. If it's the camera itself will sit on top of the microscope. It's not quite a perfect match to what I can see. So there's nothing we can really do about that. Because I gotta be able to see. I gotta see. I've noticed on my local repair shops spam Craigslist offering broken electronics. Is that the best way to get hold of donor boards? local repair shop spam Craigslist offering to buy broken electronics, I guess. I mean, a lot of times if you do something like start offering, water damage repair for people that don't need data recovery, just like, hey, I am going to try to fix your phone. If I can fix it, great. And if not, and it has no value to you, you're just going to go buy a new phone, then I'm not going to charge you anything because I didn't fix it. But maybe you can leave it with me. That's a good way to acquire donor boards, is to kind of work for free in exchange for, for a phone. All right, so this one looks like it's got a stone dead battery. So let's see what happens if we try to boot it with DC power supply, which I didn't really check before. I probably should have. I didn't do my own rule number 1.
But it's gonna turn into a scar. And one around her nose.
Alrighty.
She got dirty, but
You can buy tools to fix it yourself for free. What?
And this is a scrunch blanket.
To buy?
Actually, it's her mattress.
This looks like it has, oh, maybe not. Oh yeah, look at that. It looks like it has a short, probably on backlight anode line again. Right, so I don't think there's any way for me to show you a DC power supply, but it's 0 before prompt to boot. And then when I hit prompt, it goes to a short, which would be what would happen if my backlight line was short again, which maybe something is touching ground from my work I just did, which is really, let's see if that's true. All right, so let's check our diode mode reading. .425. I think that's okay.
But that's in the middle of the night. The sky got up and ate all their food. Oh, that was yummy.
0.509 as it cools down. Yeah, that should be good.
I call Peachy Pear. Oh, jeez, it got stuck. Where is everything?
VCC main is 0.323. All of that seems okay.
These guys or anyone
Let's check out here.
Guys, look at the security cameras.
0.512. That should be good, I think.
Security cameras. None of us ate it. But they didn't really see the part where this guy.
This one I assumed was straight up backlight because of the obvious physical damage. But I didn't confirm that it could boot before. But let's find out.
That they saw. What the? Did that dude steal them? I'm gonna go out. Hey dude, you can come back in again. I call Peachy Pear. No, I already called. But then he remembered. Can you go get it?
This thing's got a short. Somewhere
And he saw the
down in here.
Then here now. Oh, this is delicious. Oh, this Peachy Pear. I bet you ate it. No. Kick outside. At least give me a doghouse now.
Let's see if we can find a short with our multimeter first. 0.008, but I know that that line is kind of naturally low. VCC main at 0.2. That seems...
But that's where they get all their food and water. Oh no, it's also in the meeting square. Where they sit
0.234 is too low, but just a minute ago was 0.33. So that's an odd thing.
Well, never mind.
Yeah, see, backlight anode line is down to 0.497.
Water is delicious. Can I have some? No, you stay out there. You already had a delicious meal. Let's drink that water out there. You mean drink the snow? Yeah.
All right. So this one, can you move iPad rehab to the bottom right, please? No.
But then this thing.
You're gonna have to suck it up. Gotta make the effort to what? To repair.
So he can't shape on it.
What do you think about the TS100 soldering iron? No clue. It's more of the same. I love my soldering iron, so I have no motivation to change. It's great, and you know, my choice is all based on mini hot tweezers. So for iPhone, mini hot tweezers is so important. You know, this regular iron it could be anything. You could probably get away with a $10 Radio Shack iron. This isn't that important. So my entire setup choice was all based on what can power the mini hot tweezers, so that I can have in one tool a little dude, a big dude when they're both together, and the ability to deliver solder in that channel. All right, so this one I think is a great example of this exact topic, which is you know, hey, this phone was all messed up, where it's got solder squeezed out of all kinds of places, and the diode is burn up looking, the coil has shit itself, and that's, you know, all sorts of things going on there. But the cap looked great. And when we tested to say with a multimeter, rather than just kind of go in there and say what looks bad, replace it, let's test with a multimeter first. And we found that we had a backlight anode line short. So what's the cause of that? It ended up being the cap. So we know that for sure. Why? Because we knew we had that short before we removed the cap. We tested the cap itself. It was a wire. So we know that that was the cause. And then after that, we tested that the line went back up to what I think was normal resistance. So we know we had a problem. We know what it was. We had a hypothesis, and we proved that that was the actual cause of that problem. And then we went ahead and replaced all of the damage that comes from living with a short to ground on a 20-volt line, which is diodes are going to get blown up, coil gets fried, and solder balls squeeze out of the chip there. So so we put out that fire. But now it looks like there's something else going on. There's a short circuit somewhere in this device. It's not on a common rail. It's not on the main power rail, and it's not on the backlight rail. So that is a little bit more open-ended, and I want to keep this video sort of on topic. So I'm going to end this stream. And I think kind of it really would have been smart of me to have done the exact same advice that I'm advocating in this video, which is to kind of eliminate variables. So if I had started this with rule number 1, making sure that I had a board problem instead of a parts problem, which I skipped, and then identified I didn't do this. I didn't check to say, does this phone boot? I didn't do that because it had an obvious backlight problem. I thought it was straightforward. So does this phone boot? So I really needed to have done that to eliminate the variable. If I knew that it booted before, then I would be able to say, all right, then let's take this chip off. Is this chip seemed to have something under it? You know, maybe something's not clean enough under there, and kind of work backwards. And I'll do the exact same thing now that I'm going to advise Cora on iPad Rehab Forum, which is, you know, hey, my phone has a short now. Let's take off the chip that I just put on there and see if that resolves that short, in which case then kind of go forward to rebuild. All right. What diameter jumper would you use to repair to missing pads under a backlight driver? 0.2 millimeter? I don't know. I use 44 gauge wire. This stuff, which I believe is available from iPad Rehab Supply where the exact wire that I use, I had my team wind it up on some bobbins so that you can use the exact same stuff that we use. All right, so this one, I don't want this video to turn into some like enormously long stream that's really kind of now troubleshooting a different problem. Plus, it's time for me to go be a mom and hang out with these guys for a little bit. So I will check in with you guys later, and let me know in the comments if you can hear at least with a new microphone. I know that we have a webcam, and the cord here on this is kind of fritzy, and it's going to be a little bit rough, but hopefully you got some information from this at-home streaming setup, and being able to stream at home, maybe I'll be able to share more cool stuff with you guys. So I will talk to you next time.